Hello, and welcome to today's Heart Matters. It's Wednesday at 4 p.m., the Wisdom Hour. The hour that reminds us to pause and inhale the hours we have already lived and exhale the moments still unfolding. A moment to return to the now. What have we done so far that is good? What can we let go of? Wisdom dwells intimately with God and flows from God. The book of wisdom tells us wisdom is more mobile than any motion. Because of her pureness, she pervades and penetrates all things. For she is a breath of power of God and a pure emanation of the glory of the Almighty. She is a reflection of eternal light, a spotless mirror of the working of God, and an image of God's goodness. Let us pause. Let us breathe the power of God that is working within us. In through our nose and out through our mouth. In through our nose for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 5. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take a deeper breath and inhale, expanding our chest, drawing the abdomen inwards and holding our breath for a moment. And then exhale, trying to squeeze every atom from our lung as we release. Breathing deeply helps us focus. It brings us back to ourselves. I look forward to practicing that again with you next week. Today I'm reflecting on detours and bypassing. Perhaps detours versus bypassing. A few months ago, I was invited to contribute a 300-word article to an organization's newsletter. And in an attempt at humor, I accepted the April theme, detours, byways, because May was hidden with June surprises, and there may not be any detours between them. Additionally, I'd experienced several deviations from my regular route, whether driving in a car or navigating circumstances in my life. Detours are more than a matter of roads or routes. They are a way of understanding how life itself unfolds. You know, a detour is a change in direction, and it can come with a temporary warning sign, that orange diamond-shaped rectangle that indicates not this way, but that way. You will get to your destination, just not taking your regular course. A life's detour can also be an abrupt shift, in one's direction. What looks like inconvenience can't be an invitation to something new. I know, I never think about an inconvenience as an invitation to something new. I've had those shifts, but with an inkling and an unction as a sign. An inkling that something was pointing to an explanation of why things were happening the way they were happening. And then the longer I sat and pondered the idea, the more I talked about it. I grappled with it. And then something would happen. An unction, a deep passion, sense of conviction wrapped in spiritual energy and enthusiasm followed. And before I knew it, my direction had shifted and I'd made a detour, only to find myself months, sometimes later, back where I started, only more grounded, wiser, stronger, and patient. And while reflecting on these detours, I encountered another word, bypass, which led me to the phrase spiritual bypassing, a term coined by John Wellwood. Spiritual bypassing is what happens when spiritual language becomes a shield against emotional truth. We avoided a conversation because we don't like conflict or conversation. We avoid an illness, ours or someone else's. We refuse to talk about that thing that drags us down. Divorce, loss of a job, the children who've disowned their parents, or the parents who've disowned their children. The money we don't have to buy the things we need and things we sometimes want. Instead, we repress or cover up the problem, whatever the problem may be, with holy words, spiritual language that bypasses grief, distress, disappointment, anger, or betrayal. Those words go something like this. Everything happens in God's timing. It's God's will. I don't need a husband, I have Jesus. God has a plan. You need to let go and let God. God wouldn't give you more than you can handle. Stop whining and being so negative. Have you heard those before? Perhaps maybe you've used them. What seems like comfort is like pouring salt into a wound. What seems like love becomes a silencing tool. Faith does not mean we deny reality. Faith gives us the courage. Faith should give us the courage to face reality without surrendering our hope. Even in the Hebrew scriptures, Hannah has a sad heart. She is deeply, deeply grieved. And her husband bypasses her grief with, am I not enough? Am I not better than 10 sons? That's not such a tender moment that meets her sorrow. So, we remember, yes, we let it go and let God. But first, we become aware and acknowledge what it is, the real issues. We name the disappointments, label the grief, tend the unfinished business of the heart. Because then, and only then, can we surrender. Not only to trusting God has a plan, but also to trusting God's plan. And surely, when we encounter the detour, when we change direction because of an inkling, an unction, that orange diamond-shaped rectangular temporary traffic sign that indicates not this way, that way, we can safely navigate the byway. The unexpected aspect, the unexpected road we have found ourselves traveling, avoiding the bypass. So when life redirects us in ways that we do not foresee, what might it mean to move with the detour rather than resistance? What might we discover if we did not rush past our own experience, but instead sit quietly with the inkling, that subtle stirring of awareness? Perhaps receive the unction, that deeper movement of the spirit, and trust that the unexpected roads, even the byways we would not have chosen, remain held within the grip of God's grace. Let us pause and breathe and share with me in the comments. Has life redirected you and you did not foresee it? Are you moving with the detour rather than resisting it? Have you discovered that you should not rush past your experience? Instead, perhaps sitting quietly with the inkling, the unction, aware of what is stirring. Maybe it's not a path that you immediately chosen, but like Pauli Murray, it will be a path that changed, but the purpose remains unwavering. Thanks for listening. Remember, your heart matters.